What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 206. Today, we are back for a late night cast, back for another weekly episode talking fantasy football. It's late night. What time is it right now?
It is 10:36.
It's 10:36, you guys. It's late, and that means it could get freaky on this podcast, but that's all right.
Crazy word to use.
That's all right because it's fantasy football, and it's a freaky time of the year because there's a lot of bye weeks this week. Your team could be like 1-5, and you got to start doing some crazy stuff. So that's what we're here to talk about. How are you guys doing today? First off,
Good. Yeah.
Just good. Okay, yeah. We need to get something out of the way before we talk about anything about last week. I need to tell you guys a story. So this morning, I thought I texted Ivan actually, like last night, and I was like, man, there's like a lot of good like dudes on waivers this week, and I have like a bad waiver spot, so I'm trying to climb my way back up, trying to see who's all gonna use their waiver, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wake up at 4 a.m. I'm gonna do it because I just want to see who's there. I need a QB, I need a kicker, I need a defense. I want to add some of these running backs. It was like 5 good ones. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I set my alarm for like 3:55. Woke up before my alarm for some reason. I woke up at like 3:40, which just makes no sense. And I just stayed up and waited and waited.
How long?
And waited.
How long?
Until like at least like 4:20. And then I was just like, dude, I need to just like go to sleep. I had to wake up at 6 anyways because I had to be up early. So I was like, I'll just get up at 6 and like hopefully Ivan and Seth didn't wake up at 4. And I get on at 6 and nothing at all. And then obviously in the middle of the radio show this morning at like 8:30, I get 14 ESPN fantasy notifications. Obviously waivers cleared then and there, and I was unable to add anyone. So that was just what an L out of ESPN fantasy this morning.
I woke up at 4.
I also woke up at 4.
How long did you guys wait?
I don't even remember it really. It was like
Very
I
short
looked
time.
at it and I was just like, okay, I'm not doing this because last week it didn't clear till 5.
That's so weird.
So like
They said today that they resolved it.
they are screwing us.
Yeah. I mean, why is it not a consistent time? Like
It never is the thing.
That's one thing I love about Sleeper is like you can set the which I think you can on ESPN too, actually, right? Like
Yeah.
I think
but
you
like
can
the
change.
default is like whatever they just like decide.
Exactly, yeah. Like on Sleeper, when you start the league, you like have to pick a specific time that waivers clear, which I think makes a lot of sense. The default on ESPN, like it just, I would love to know and it usually is like 3:47 or like 4:16, like it's right in that range.
I think it's based off of like West Coast time,
right.
so it kind of makes a little more sense.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know.
it's still very frustrating for.
I woke up at 4:05 is when I have my alarm set for, and woke up at 4:05. I was awake till like 6:30 in the morning.
Oh wow!
Because I was like, yeah, it's not cleared. 30 minutes.
How many times did you check it?
I was gonna say how much.
I just
of
turned
that...
on an episode of MasterChef.
Okay.
And I was watching MasterChef, and like I'm pretty involved in MasterChef.
Okay.
So
I'm pretty involved.
so I was watching I probably watched like an episode and a half, hour, 30 minutes. Didn't clear, and I was like, okay.
So how much of that 2 hours were you like actively on?
It was like maybe every 15. I was just like refreshing because I knew Ivan was gonna get up too because he'd been doing that.
Yeah.
And I like kind of gave up.
I've been doing it too. I've been doing it, but like only on weeks where like I feel like it matters. Like if I like, and it ended up not mattering this week anyways because I used all my ads on QB, kicker, and defense, so I didn't even like pick up any of the guys. But like I wanted Roshan Johnson, I wanted Zach, what's his face from the Rams.
Evans.
Like I wanted all them dudes, and I got none of them.
Yeah,
which is very frustrating.
And Steve called me this morning because I was late for work. So
oh wow. And even though you were up at 4 a.m.
I was up at 4 a.m.
Fell back asleep.
Didn't wake up until like 8:40. Steve called me. I was like, "You coming in today?" Yeah, sorry, Steve.
Sorry, I had fantasy football stuff. Okay, that was basically it for my rant of ESPN be better because hardcore fantasy players like us that spend time of their sleep to focus on fantasy football just got screwed over today.
And
like
you almost
hardcore.
cost me my job.
And you almost cost him his job. Yeah. So all right.
I will say though, I was the first one to the waivers after they cleared.
Of course you were.
If you go look at when I added players, I think it was probably the exact minute they
So
quit.
how does that happen? Like were you just like ready
I was sitting on my phone looking at my phone
and it just like
in my
it
car
was nice.
waiting,
That's really
scrolling
lucky.
through Twitter, listening to everybody's like get mad about it.
I would have loved if that was me. Like if it would have been 20 minutes earlier, I still would have. But yeah, just
It was nice too. I picked up Elijah Mitchell.
yeah.
You know,
that is the one dude that I wanted the most.
Yeah.
Because I knew everyone was gonna pick up the top. Elijah Mitchell's projected like 2 points this week. He's towards the bottom. Jordan Mason is the attractive name over him. I feel like I wanted Mitchell so bad, and then you got him. So that's just pretty frustrating. Okay. But anyways, let's talk about last week in fantasy football. It was an interesting week. I just knocked off Ivan in our league. Ivan, you bounced back pretty miraculously with another big 150 plus point week. Seth, we got to talk, man. What is going on with your fantasy squad?
I'm in a really weird spot right now. For those of you, I'll give you a quick rundown.
Right.
I'll just list my fantasy team. You guys can comment on what you think I should change. But my quarterback situation, I'm running a little bit of a waiver wire pickup. I have
Same.
Kirk Cousins, but obviously I'm starting Deshaun this week if he plays. But then I have Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, TJ Hawkinson.
Sounds like a pretty good team.
Sounds like it's the greatest team that you could construct. I also had Nick Chubb, went down early on, but he's long forgotten. And I just keep losing, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm in a terrible spot.
You're 2-4, right?
I'm 2-4, and I have Breece, Derrick Henry, and CD all on bye this week.
And that's what this week is the first crucial bye week. We have 6 teams on bye this week with Cincinnati, Tennessee, Jets, Houston, Carolina, and Dallas. Every single one of those teams has fantasy starters. Like even Carolina and Houston, those 2 teams have fantasy starters. So it's a really tough week this week. I did win. I snuck out a win on Monday Night Football. Brandon Aubrey kicking that field goal. I was sweating that one out hardcore. I have 2 1-point wins this year in our league.
Crazy.
That's wild.
That's pretty crazy. I've won 1-point loss too, so I've just had a lot of nail biters so far. But across all of my leagues though, dude, I'm 2-4 in my fantasy league or my family league. Ooh. That that's inexcusable. I feel like.
Yeah, it is.
Aren't you in a family league?
I'm in a family league as well, but family leagues are so easy.
That's what I'm saying.
I think Jahmyr Gibbs went 9 in my fantasy league draft.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
I got Saquon, CMC, Keenan Allen, and Devontae Smith.
You want to know who went in the first round of my family league draft?
Who?
Cam Akers.
That's a great pick. Because starting the year
overall
with the Rams, dude, the Rams were looking good.
Yeah, for 1 week. and then they said nope, we're not using him anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm 2-4 in that league. Every other league is not as important, obviously, as this league. But all in general, it was a really weird fantasy week because we had a lot of certain teams go crazy. We didn't have any nuclear performances like we had with Jamar Chase the week before. But a lot of dudes got hurt this week, which makes a huge impact going into week 7, especially with the amount of buys that we have. But first, we need to go over our week 6 boom bust results. Let's start off with you, Seth. Best week of the year for you so far. 3 out of 4. You hit Jared Goff boom. You hit D-Hop bust. You hit Jacobs bust. The Niners defense boom did not hit though. That was the one I wanted to hit the most.
I know. I was really hoping for that one.
But unfortunately it didn't. But either way, you're up to an 8 on the season, which is tied for first now. So that's pretty huge. Ivan, 1 out of 4 for you. You'll obviously take getting 1. It was the Gabe Davis bust. That was absolute money. He didn't even come close. But A.J. Brown bust did not hit. CeeDee Lamb boom was close. He was about 1.5 off. And then Matthew Stafford, boom, did not hit. So you are tied now with Seth at 8 for the year.
Yep, Stafford did.
Yeah, he really. I mean, it was just he had to throw the touchdowns.
Just the fact that I was gonna switch to Goff and it was a lock.
Yeah, it really was.
13 is crazy.
We should have all done it, but yeah, that was.
I jumped on it first.
You did, and I had to let you keep that. But yeah, you also have 8 now on the season, and then me just. Pitiful. My second 0 for 4
I didn't know that.
of the year. Yeah, it was just bad. I had a lot of close calls too. That's the part that hurts the most. Zay Flowers, boom, misses by about 1.5 points. Justin Fields, boom, got hurt, but like he also just wasn't gonna boom either. He was having a really bad game. Brandon Ayuk bust, missed by about 2 points, and then Travis Etienne bust. I said it on the show that I just like hated that pick, and it proved to be right as he totally outscored his projections. So I'm only at 6 on the year, even though I have a 4 for 4 week, which just doesn't even seem right. So yeah, we talked about how our goal is to try and work our way up to 50%. Definitely a little bit of work to be done as we hit a 33% this week, thanks to me. But we will be better this week. I don't think so, but I'm rooting for it. All right, let's get into it though. The injury report. There was a lot of injuries this week. Ivan, I'll start with you because this is a guy that has been a key contributor to your squad this year. Kyron Williams is going to miss, I think they said at least a few games, right?
Yeah,
they didn't put him on IR.
They said the latest he'll be back is week 10.
Okay, so
I would say
we're in week 7.
After week 10.
Yeah, because they have a bye.
After week 10. He'll be back week 11.
Yeah, but they didn't put him on IR. So
I'm pretty confident.
That's still pretty tough, though. I mean, you're missing him for
I'm just missing him for another big bye week for my team.
Right.
But, yeah, it's unfortunate. They didn't say if it was a high ankle sprain. I'm sure it is.
When did it even happen?
He finished the game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And he had a really good second half, obviously.
I don't know.
Must have been an MRI kind of thing that they found after the game.
Yeah.
Like worse than they thought type situation.
I could see a potential week 9 return if he's good to go.
Yeah, I think so too.
But if it's even a question, they'll sit him.
Mm-hmm. And it's you had the handicap in Ronnie Rivers, so it kind of was a
absolute
set in stone.
Joke, dude.
But Ronnie Rivers gets put on the IR with like a PCL tear or something. Yeah. So it comes down to maybe a tandem backfield. Obviously, I pointed to Ivan, but Seth, this is your squad. So, what are the Rams going to do? They've had a really good run game this year with Kyron Williams kind of figuring out their franchise running back so far this season. Obviously, Zach Evans was the only guy that was active on the squad that he had 4 carries, I think, in that game. But they bring Royce Freeman up from the practice squad, and they go out and sign Myles Gaskin. What do we expect from any of these guys?
They went and grabbed Darrell Henderson.
Oh, that's two. Yep.
So I think they're definitely going to lean into a committee backfield at least until someone maybe emerges next week. But I really don't see it happening. I think they're going to probably rely pretty heavily on Stafford and just his skill set, and probably really lean on the trio of Puka, Cooper Kupp, and Higbee.
Yeah.
So I don't really see any of those backs kind of doing what Kyron's done up until this point.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest things. I don't think any of them are a start, and I don't think any of them are gonna be a start.
No,
I don't think so either.
They're definitely like Evans is definitely an ad. You definitely pick him up. What's his projection? 11?
Yeah, but the 11's high to me.
That's what I was just gonna say.
I would really much rather start Zeke after last week.
Yeah,
because he had I think he had 11 last week. Mm-hmm. But dude, he had a 60-yard touchdown
called back. Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that, and especially because the fact that they brought in a bunch of running backs, I just don't see them giving all the carries to Zach Evans. It's kind of just gonna be if one of them scores a touchdown, that hopefully you pick the right one type situation. Royce Freeman is the vet in the group, so there's.
It's also tough because, like you said, you bring in a vet, but then Darrell Henderson has been there.
That's a good point, yeah, and he knows that system really well. So there's a world where he could get all the carries. Evans is the young one, so I know sometimes a lot of these teams just like to see what they can get out of the young guy. But I don't think that this is craziest biggest waiver ad of the year type of situation here. We'll know at least it's not just a 1 week rental. If you got any of these guys, so you can kind of see what happens this week and then go from there. But either way, I think that you just kind of don't start any of those guys this week.
I really think Stafford's just gonna throw the ball 45 times.
I don't see why he would.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because dude, that first half of that last game, Kyron had 4 yards. They didn't want to run the ball.
No.
Stafford doesn't want to run the ball. The only reason they did is because Kyron has proven that he's good, and he literally marched down the field and scored a touchdown
and had 160 rushing yards.
So if these guys aren't, and I don't think are as capable as him because they're not the one, I don't think they'll do it.
Yeah. No. I don't think so either. But
I think the only reason they said we had to give Kyron a shot here is because they're playing the Cardinals, and the Cardinals can't guard the run.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, and they play Seattle this week, right, against K9. That could be another huge start this week. So yeah, I think that if you have any of those three guys, I doubt anyone, like Evans and maybe Freeman are the ones that got added.
Yeah.
Like that you didn't pick up Gaskin or Henderson. So just see what happens, and then maybe, who knows, maybe if Darrell Henderson is brought up to the active squad and he gets 20 carries, then you go pick him up.
Yeah.
We'll see. But let's move on to another injury that this one is really tough because we still like don't really know if he's going to be out or not, and it's Christian McCaffrey with an oblique injury in Sunday's game. He did leave the game, came back in, played one snap, and then they were like, nah, he's just going to be done. Goes back to the locker room. So this one seems a little bit different with me because if McCaffrey is to miss a game, which we don't even know if he's going to miss a game, I feel like you do almost have to take the risk in starting Jordan Mason and or Elijah Mitchell, whichever one that you got, because the run, like we know how much they are going to run the football, and the likelihood of a touchdown being scored by one of these guys or maybe both is quite high. Jordan Mason scored a touchdown after McCaffrey left the game. So how do you guys feel about Mason and Mitchell this week?
With McCaffrey out, and another thing you have to think about too is Debo getting carries, and with his injury, that's I don't think that I don't see Debo running the ball a ton right off of another shoulder injury. That doesn't sound like a good idea.
I don't think that would happen.
They probably, if Debo plays, he'll throw him out and decoy him like they did the other week.
And but also C.J. Gardner-Johnson called him a running back though on Instagram Live the other day. So
yeah, he's probably not gonna be much of a running back.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Who do they play?
San Fran plays Minnesota.
Minnesota's been decent against them.
Yeah, they've been
I think
solid.
they were 6th ranked.
Really bad.
But yeah,
against the
it'll
pass,
probably.
but-
The Niners are gonna have to score points because the Vikings are gonna. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're probably will
Both
score,
teams
yeah.
are gonna score points. So yeah, I lean Elijah Mitchell personally just because I've already you've seen it.
Yeah.
Like he's played games for them, and like the only reason that he got out snapped after McCaffrey went out was because he was limited.
Exactly. Like he was just coming back. This was his first game back from injury, I believe.
Yeah,
right.
he missed 2 weeks.
Yeah, I like Mitchell as well.
Yeah, I agree. This offense is like really weird right now because obviously CMC goes down, Debo's hurt, Ayuk's coming off an injury, and Kittle hasn't done anything since he had that blow up game.
Yeah.
So like this offense is full of question marks. Brock Purdy's coming off a pretty rough game. So I actually think that they're gonna try to lean heavy on the run this week, even though Minnesota's pretty solid against the run. It's just I don't know, dude.
I also don't know Minnesota's schedule. I could see it being a big strength of schedule thing, them being good against the run.
Yeah.
I'd say they're probably middle of the pack.
Yeah.
They're ranked like 9th.
They're probably not like an elite run defense. Like maybe fantasy wise, like they just have had good matchups. In general football terms, though, they're definitely not like some great defense. Yeah, I think that, and we also just don't know, like, if McCaffrey's going to play this week. If McCaffrey ends up playing, like, then you're in a weird spot of, like, is he going to be limited? Like, I assume Mitchell and Mason still get carries. But if for some reason they're still available and you are a McCaffrey owner, or you're just a guy that has Joe Mixon on bye, or Derrick Henry on bye, or Breece Hall on bye, like, maybe you just pick up Elijah Mitchell or Jordan Mason. You just say, screw it, I'm starting them this week. I know they're projected 2 points, but if they play, there is like a 50% chance that they score a touchdown. Honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I was listening to another like fantasy podcast, and they were like if you really think about it, that if the Niners have like a really like a matchup where they should blow them out, like it is actually makes sense to start the backup running back. Because after McCaffrey scores his 1 or 2 touchdowns, and they're up 28 points in the fourth quarter, and they want to run out the clock, that guy's getting a quarter. Whoever it is, you have to figure out. That's the thing. You have to get it right. Whoever it is, though, they're going to get.
That's a great point.
When they're up, dude, they're going to get 12 carries in the fourth quarter.
And I think Mason has scored multiple touchdowns this year. Like, that definitely wasn't his first one, so.
Well, and the 49ers love to get running backs involved in the passing game, and Trent Williams is obviously the best lineman.
Isn't he hurt?
Right now.
I think he got hurt. Like, I don't know if he's, like, out, though. I think he, like, did get hurt, though. But I don't know. They just have it's the 49ers. Like, they just always got injuries going on, so.
Looking at Minnesota's game schedule, though, they've played Tampa Bay, Philly, the Chargers, Carolina, Kansas City, and the Bears. So, like, 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of
it was no Eckler Chargers, so that was Joshua Kelly. It was no Khalil Herbert.
But like
Bears.
Philly,
The Philly game,
and KC.
but that's like the outlier because that was like Swift's game where he had like 100.
Yeah, he killed them. So if you really think he killed them.
He totally killed him that game, yeah. So, Yeah, but I think if you have Mason or Mitchell, or if they're available in your league, like for sure, you got to go scoop them. So moving on to another running back injury. This one is so very unfortunate that Seth actually pointed out to me that someone on this podcast spoke it into existence last week.
It's really unfortunate.
David Montgomery gets injured in the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Very, very unfortunate because Jahmyr Gibbs has missed the last 2 games with injury. And guess what? Craig Reynolds also hurt, didn't practice today with the Lions. So really weird situation going on right now. What I'm referring to is you said, like, David Montgomery's going to get 30 carries as long as he doesn't get hurt or something like that. So
that was me that said that?
Yeah. So that's just funny. But, yeah, Montgomery is going to miss. They said he's going to miss a few weeks. They didn't put him on IR, which is a good sign, but also they didn't put Emmanuel Mosley on IR to start the year, and he still missed 4 weeks either way. So, like, I assume Montgomery is going to be out the next 2 games up until the bye, and then maybe he returns after the bye. But if you are a Jahmyr Gibbs owner, which I know you're not, are you forced to start him this week if he is healthy?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. What's he got, like a 15.6 projection? He had a... Pretty spot on, right?
Why do you know that?
I was keeping it out. I was looking at it for boom bust, but like, he was limited practice today, but also he was limited at practice all week last week. He didn't like miss practice, so it's really hard. I assume they're going to try to push him to play because of Dave Montgomery being out and Craig Reynolds potentially being hurt.
I think Craig plays though.
I think
so,
Craig
too.
also plays.
What was it? Like, it probably was rest.
No, it was an injury. Like they said, he has like an injury that came up today apparently. But like I should have checked to see what it was. But
we don't have another running back on the roster right now.
we have Divine Ozigbo who played like he got like 2 or 3 carries the other day. They brought Muhammad Ibrahim back, who was a guy in training camp that was really good in college. They brought him back to the practice squad.
So the report says that Reynolds was held out of practice due to a hamstring injury and 2 other injuries.
Oh.
They don't specify what the other 2 are.
2 other injuries.
Yeah.
That's not
He
great.
might not play.
He
I
might
don't know
not
if
play.
that's a typo or what.
I don't know if that's a typo. Yeah, so this could be really bad. Yeah. Yeah, that's about the only way to put it. We're playing against a Baltimore defense that is pretty good against the run, and they just
You just turned into fans so quick.
Yeah, this totally left fantasy talk here. Yeah, I mean this is a good Baltimore defense, and we know like the only good thing like from a Lions fan perspective is like Tampa Bay last week. Their main goal was like, all right, this Lions offense has dominated the run. We're gonna shut down the run. Even before Montgomery left the game, like he had like 6 carries for like 14 yards. Guess what? Didn't matter. Jared Goff threw for 350 passing yards. So I think offensively for the Lions, we shouldn't be like terribly worried if Montgomery and Gibbs and Reynolds all don't go. But it's definitely like, oh God. But if like it's Divine Ozigbo, like is that a guy that you like actually have to go pick up, or I just assume that Gibbs is gonna play this week?
Yeah,
I hope.
I think
he
one of them will
plays.
play.
I think it'll be both of them.
I hope.
The thing is, Craig to me was a great start before I heard this news.
Yeah.
Like I think Craig would have outscored Gibbs if they're both playing.
I think
just
so,
off
too.
the hamstring.
Yeah.
And like he had
goal line.
he filled in so like he was. You have to reward him after what he did last game, filling in for Montgomery like that. Obviously, he had that huge block on the Amon-Ra touchdown that everyone's going crazy about. So, yeah, I think that, and Craig has high touchdown potential as well. I can't remember if we joked about this on this podcast or not, but we definitely did on the radio. But Jameson Williams scored a touchdown before Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Which is just like it's cool, but it also sucks at the same time. But yeah, I think that if you have Dave Montgomery, you shouldn't panic because it's not like he was a top pick or anything. Like you kind of just got the luxury of drafting him late. And if you have Jahmyr Gibbs, hopefully this is the week that he can kind of show out and have a big game. I'd really hope so. So. Okay, there's like one more thing that I have injury wise. I don't know if you guys like have any other that I'm missing, but with the Chicago Bears last week, Deontay Foreman was like their main running back. With Khalil Herbert going on IR, Roshan Johnson does return this week. Fields got injured, so I think that kind of could be like a green light for the running backs to get a little bit more work because Tyson Bagent is going to be the QB. So do you guys think that like Roshan or Foreman is either one of those guys you kind of trust this week in a week full of buys?
I think Roshan's actually still in concussion protocol.
Oh, is he really? I knew he was questionable.
He
still,
is.
but...
He was today. I think he probably will go.
Right.
But I like Roshan more.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think Foreman had his chance last week.
He had like 17 carries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
I mean,
just
he was...
didn't get it done. And who did they play?
They played Minnesota.
No, this week.
Oh, this week.
Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, they do play Indy. Yeah,
That's
which is like a pretty
interesting.
bad run defense. So
Yeah.
like,
I still like. I think just with the Bears and especially without Fields now, I want the pass catcher.
yeah,
There's a floor there with that team.
Exactly.
They'll probably be losing more than they'll be winning. I want the pass catcher and like the younger. He's younger and he's probably better. I
Yeah.
like Roshan.
and
more.
I just assume they want to go with Roshan because it was a battle between him and Herbert to start the season, and now this could be his role where he finally takes off. So I probably like that too. Do you guys? Is there any other injuries that I'm forgetting about that you? I mean, like there's so many quarterback injuries, but like those don't really like matter that much. Like Trevor Lawrence is injured.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill got injured. Like I mean, there's a few more, but
I
don't
will.
think there's any
I
big
want to
ones.
throw in the Kyler.
Oh yeah.
Just Kyler coming back. Nobody really knows what that's gonna look like, but like all the talk has been about how people think that the Cardinals like want to trade Kyler this year, or like, but they wouldn't have brought him back like this
Yeah, that's
if they
true.
wanted.
I think
to
a
do that.
report came out like 2 weeks ago that said that they're gonna deal him, but it's gonna be after the after
So,
the
like,
season's over.
He's gonna be out there, and he's one of those. I think he's gonna be available in a lot of leagues until he like proves it.
You might
But
as well
he's on
throw him
IR,
the
still,
IR,
so
yeah.
pick him up, throw him on the IR. You never know, and even if you have a good quarterback, it's still like a good.
And
piece
you
to
did
have.
that, right?
I did that.
I
Yeah.
saw a thing today that said over the last 4 seasons, like every game that he's played, he's averaged like 20.4 fantasy points. That's like the QB4. Right
Yeah,
now. So,
he's a pretty good fantasy
Yeah.
quarterback for sure, and maybe it could
Yeah.
boost some guys in that offense too. I mean,
Yeah.
like Dobbs has been pretty good too, but it definitely could help out that offense in
Yeah.
general because I don't think like from the start of the season I really thought Cardinals were on like tank mode, and I haven't gotten that vibe this year.
No.
They are 1-5, so like you could say that they are, but like I don't know. I feel like they're pretty competitive.
They're
every
going out
game.
there trying to score points.
I think, and like their offense like is not that bad.
their defense is.
Their defense is pretty bad. But like Dobbs doesn't look that bad. They had a bad week last week against the Rams for sure. Like they did not look great.
yeah,
But
but the Rams will do that too.
I guess
Yeah.
my whole thing, the point I wanted to make with the Kyler thing is, I know everybody like hates on Kyler, but like Kyler's better than Dobbs, and Dobbs is fantasy relevant. So
Yeah,
there's no
that's a
reason
great
not to
point.
pick up Kyler and put him on your IR.
especially with like the lack of good quarterback
Right.
play
And
this
the
year in
injuries
fantasy.
and the buys.
Yeah, you might as well pick
him
it-
up.
Yeah, totally. Okay, let's get into a topic that I just kind of wanted to briefly discuss, and that is just with all these buys and injuries this week, because this is, like we said, 6 teams on bye that are crucial. This is like kind of a mini like boom section, just because like you're not picking these guys to boom, but it's like who are some guys that you typically wouldn't start that you could start this week just because of situation. I'll start with a guy that I thought about putting on my boom bust, but I'm not going to, so I feel comfortable talking about him. I think that if you were in a sticky situation, you got one of them RBs on bye, you don't know what to do, I think you can start Jaylen Warren this week, playing against the Rams. He projected 10.3. He's gotten over 10 points in their last 3 games when he's gotten like this bigger role with Pittsburgh, but also he hasn't scored a touchdown yet this year. Like, I assume he'll get one at some point. I don't know if it's this game. But with the floor of, like, 9 for Jaylen Warren, you'll take that in a week where you don't have many other options. So I think
Yeah.
he's a guy that you could start this week.
Yeah, I think he's one of those. There's a couple other ones. They're just like they're getting usage. Like Zeke is like these are the go-to
Yeah, Zeke's a
pickup
good
guys
one,
you can
yeah.
start. Like Zeke, Latavius Murray is a good one in my
Yep.
opinion, especially after the injury to Damian Harris. Latavious Murray is another like.
Which I hope
plug-in
Damian
play.
Harris is all good.
I think he is. They
Okay,
said
that's
it's
good.
Just like a strain.
Because that was pretty scary for a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I've
want to.
got,
You can go first.
Same with the running backs. I think you could get away with starting like a Javonte Williams this week. A.J. Dillon's been pretty bad, but they're playing Denver.
He had a
so
good week last week, too.
There's like
yeah.
a chance he could find the end zone. And then I've got J-Mo for Detroit. He's only projected 5, but I think in the chance that 2 or 3 of these running backs, if Craig Reynolds gets ruled out and Gibbs can't go, J-Mo's going to get mixed in there with a couple end arounds. He's going to get a couple throws to him. Even if Detroit wants to run a high-powered throwing offense to get past this week, he could be a pretty good start.
Yeah, I like that one because we're gonna need some big plays to beat Baltimore, and he is the big play. Yeah. So I like that pick.
I think the other extension from that is just maybe any Lions receiver of like
Reynolds too.
Reynolds, Raymond, like they're all like pretty solid options. They all kind of probably have close to the same chance. I would give Reynolds maybe a little bump of a touchdown every week. Yeah. Like those three guys, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They all have a good shot.
Reynolds is due to like get you like 15 on any given week. He also, and his floor is probably like 7. So it's like in a week like this, like we're not talking about who you grabbing to get your 25. We're talking about who can you pick up that is projected 6 that's going to get you double-digit points. You know, like I think that's kind of how I view this one. I think that another one too, both of Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt, I think you can start this week. Last week, they both had very good usage. Kareem Hunt in only 33% of the snaps had like 13 carries for 40-some yards and a touchdown, and he got work out of the pass game as well. Jerome Ford had 17 carries with 80 yards against a San Fran defense that has been really good against the run this year. And I think especially if Deshaun doesn't play again, they're going to be run heavy. So I think that I know there's 2 guys there, but if you're in a pinch at running back, I think you're good. Ford, like, it probably is just a starter anyways, but I think you could start Kareem Hunt this week too if you have to.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other ones?
Looking at like the quarterback position, because we talked about it a little bit. Danny Dimes is pretty low right now. We saw Saquon come back, but on like a limited. He didn't do.
I think they said Danny should be playing this week. I'm pretty sure.
So they're playing Buffalo, which is tough. Or no.
They just played Buffalo, right?
This doesn't make any sense. Oh, yeah, because Danny Dimes didn't play against Buffalo.
Yep.
So they play the Commanders.
Okay.
Saquon's back, as opposed to they've been playing Miami, Buffalo, and who else? They play the Niners?
Yeah, they play the Niners.
Those are tough defenses.
Cowboys,
and
too.
The Commanders aren't that. So I think you could maybe look to throw Danny Dimes in at QB if you need one this week.
Yeah, I'll do an extension off of that. Wan'Dale Robinson.
Ooh, that's a good one.
He's coming off a good week. They're playing Commanders. If anybody saw what DJ Moore did to the Commanders secondary.
Yeah, I hope everybody
The guy
saw
getting
that.
8 targets in the last game by the Giants. I know it wasn't Danny Dimes throwing the ball, but still.
It's still got to be eye-opening, though.
Him or Hyatt are good dart throws to me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hyatt is more of a dart throw probably at this point, but like still. Like he had some good targets in their last game.
Like there's a lot. Like I'm starting this week in my 12-man fantasy league. I have Mixon on bye, I have T. Higgins on bye, and I have somebody else on bye. I'm starting like Zach Moss, and I'm starting Jalen Warren at my flex. Like it's a lot of sticky situations. And our league is a 10-man. Like there's a lot of people that are in 12, 14-man leagues that are going to be starting guys like Wan'Dale Robinson this week. So you have to try and just play it safe and go with a guy that is going to, I think, just have a better floor than a higher ceiling. I think that's the safe way to look at it. The last one that I have, which is more of like you probably are just starting him anyways, even though like he's on my team and I'm not. I think KJ Osborne's a pretty good start this week.
It's funny
like,
that you say that.
He had 8.9 points, I think. Like he definitely like looked pretty good, even though he didn't have a lot of points. I just think that he's touchdown like could get a touchdown is basically what I'm saying. So I think you're fine with starting him as well. So yeah, that's basically it for just if guys that you could go to look to start.
I had one more.
Okay.
There's another guy on your team, and you are probably starting him like in a normal team if you have buys, like Drake London. Love what I've seen so far. He's had
back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, he's had like 8+ targets 3 weeks in a row, and you know. He just had 20 points this week, so he's showing that he's showing he has this ceiling that we didn't know he had. And that you have guys like Jalen Waddle and Devonta Smith that are going out and putting up 1.6 or whatever. And like, you got to remember, like this is just how it goes. Like Drake London proved he can give you 20, so at least have the confidence to start him.
Yeah, and he has like a 12.5 projection this week, which I think is good because he was in the 9 and 10s for like a long time. So, and they play. They play against Tampa Bay too, who just got torched by the Lions passing offense. So I was definitely considering starting Drake London this week for a little bit. Okay, before we hop into this week's boom and bust and wrap up the show, I got a little trivia for you guys because we did this a few weeks back and it's a few weeks later, so we're gonna hop right back into it. I need the top 5 players at each position right now in fantasy football. You guys can just like go back and forth or something and try and knock them out without getting any wrong. Starting at quarterback, give me the top 5 players.
All right, wait. So we had there's miscommunication. We can talk and then we'll say final answer. Boom,
Yeah,
and we'll give it.
That's cool with me.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're doing quarterback.
I think Josh Allen should be a
He's
lock.
number 1.
Yep.
Josh Allen's number 1.
Justin Herbert is number 2.
Yep.
Actually, wait. They had a bye. There's a chance. I think Herbert's.
I'll give you that one. Herbert is not in the top 5.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, strictly because of the bye.
Yeah.
That's the tough part. The buys
So-
are.
Mahomes is definitely. They haven't
Tua's
had a
gonna
bye
be
yet.
up there.
Tua's probably in it.
Tua is number 3. Mahomes is number 4.
Yep.
Number 4 is tied with There's 2 number 4s, basically, is what I'm saying. So you're just missing 2 and 5.
These are probably easier than we think.
Yeah, number 2 is really easy.
I'm just thinking.
5 is kind of a surprise.
I think 5 might be Russ, dude.
No.
Because
I think he was like 6. I'm pretty sure.
Because the only reason I'm thinking that is because Kirk has had a couple bad games in a row. I know he was like that top 5. dude
Kirk
for a
might be
while.
5.
Not
Kirk was 1 at one point.
Yeah,
Which is
I think
crazy.
he put up like 6 points last
All right,
week.
let's get 2 quick though.
Yeah.
If it's easy,
Yeah, like this guy is like
Jalen Hurts.
it is
There,
Jalen
yeah,
Hurts. Yes.
there you go.
Number 5 though, this guy just had a big game last game.
Don't tell me, dude. It can't be who I'm thinking it could be Goff. No, it could be Goff.
It's Jared Goff.
That's crazy.
Jared Goff is he's 4th. He's tied with Mahomes right now.
That
and
is
Kate is talking all that crap about, I got Mahomes.
Yeah.
Guess what? Jared Goff was rejected 13, and he's got the same amount of
Yeah.
points as Mahomes this year.
I
dude.
just want to go on record and say that was the easiest boom.
That was the best boom pick of the year. And
ESPN be better.
easiest. All right, running backs, top 5 RBs. Give them to me.
It's still CMC.
It is still CMC at number 1.
Yep. And then Mustard at 2.
It
Mustard.
is Mostert at 2. All right, 3 through 5.
I don't. Okay, we're talking here.
Yep.
This is
Let's try
where-
to nail these. I think we can
I
nail
think-
this. Kyron is on this list. On ESPN, he is number 4.
Okay.
I was looking at it today, so can we just plug
Lock
Kyron?
that
Yes.
in.
Kyron is number 4. You were
Did
correct.
Achan fall out?
Yeah, he can. I don't know if he can be in the top 5.
Dude, he had like 50 points that 1 week. That makes up for him not
Yeah, but
playing.
what did he have the week he got hurt?
Not a lot.
I think he did have like 20.
He had like 20 of the week he got hurt. Well, let's just think of some other ones, and if we
He already missed a week though.
yeah.
I'm gonna just give it to you guys. He's number 6. He's not in the
Okay.
top 5. But it's crazy. He's still number 6.
ETN's had back-to-back.
Oh
big
no,
games.
K9. K9 has got to be top 5.
K9 is not in the
What?
top 5. Had a bye last week.
Travis Etienne.
Travis Etienne is number 3.
Dude, the buys are killing me.
I know the buys.
K9's
It is
averaging
tough.
like
It is
20.
tough.
I know. Like K9 average wise definitely is top 5 for
Yeah.
sure. Which maybe that's how I should have done it, but I just wanted to go off positional ranking. Just missing number 5 here, and I can tell you guys,
It's Derrick Henry.
hell no, it ain't Derrick Henry. I can tell you guys that
Is it Bijan Mustard?
no, I wish he
You
was.
know he has a mustard brand?
I did see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
really that's
hilarious.
genius by whoever like whatever company hopped on that. I could guarantee you guys that no one and their mother had this guy in their top 5.
Zach Moss.
It is Zach
I was
Moss.
just
yes.
I was looking
the
at
guy
it
that's
today,
better
and I was
than the dude on your jersey.
Shut up.
I'm joking. I love Taylor. Okay, yeah, Zach Moss is
Taylor
still top
Swift?
5. Though.
I feel like Zach Moss has made the best case for them to trade JT right,
Right.
now. Like, what's the problem?
You would think so.
I think JT put him in a really bad position.
yeah,
Because
he had a good week last
he
week.
did the whole thing, like fighting for the contract, and then they kind of made a big deal about him like not being there for the team,
Mm-hmm.
and he did a 180 and came out and said, "I'm good to go. I don't care about my contract
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm
gonna
here
play for
to
the
help."
Colts." And I think he backed him to a corner where everyone was like, "JT's just a good dude who
Yeah.
wants to play
Crap,
football."
we were gonna use the like he hates us
Yeah.
like excuse to trade him, and now they can't do that. Okay, top 5 receivers. Give them to me.
Stephon Diggs,
Number 2.
Tyreek.
Excuse me.
Tyreek Hill,
Tyreek number 1.
Devontae,
No.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown is not in.
No, we're starting to fire again.
Not
It
in the
can't
top
be
5.
firing, dude. It's clearly Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen is number 4 with the bye week. Still is number
Yeah,
4.
that was risky. So
I will tell you guys this. Here's my hint.
Can you tell me where AJ Brown is?
I don't have him, and he's got to be like 7 or 6.
Oh, dude.
But I didn't write down any of the non-top 5 guys. One of these guys was a top 5 receiver drafted. The other guy was maybe not a top 40 receiver drafted.
40?
Like he probably will. Nah, I don't know. Maybe.
All right. Dude, it's so hard when you're sitting here, but it's like so simple.
You know them, obviously. Both of these guys are on bye this week, too, by the way.
Okay,
so
what
they
teams
could
are
fall
on
out.
bye?
They could definitely fall out of the top 5.
Is it? Okay,
It's the Cowboys, the Titans, the Jets.
None of those.
Those are just the 3 players I have.
I don't have any.
The Panthers, the Bengals,
Adam
the
Thielen.
Texans.
Adam Thielen is number 3,
Is the
which
other
is
one-
crazy.
The other one can't
Oh, it's
be
Jamar.
dude,
100%.
is it?
It's Jamar.
It's
Chase.
Jamar. It is Jamar Chase. The 50-some point week definitely helped him out.
That's
there
why I was
big
thinking
time.
DJ Moore could be up there still, but
Yeah. He had like 9 last week or 10 or something like that. Definitely had a little bit of a fall off. All right, this one should be pretty straightforward. Top 5 tight ends. Give
Kelsey,
them to me.
Laporta,
Hawkinson.
and I'm not going to say Anders anymore.
Kelsey 1, Laporta 2, Hawkinson 3, Andrews 4. You've got the top 4. Number 5 though, can you get it without getting it wrong?
All right, we need to talk
it's
about
tricky.
this. We need to talk about
Okay,
this.
we're talking about. We'll
It's
do
tricky,
final
tricky.
answer.
Because Hunter Henry was there for a while, but I think he fell off.
And I don't. Dude,
Logan Thomas had a big
no,
week
he had
2 weeks
he had
ago.
1.6 last week or something on Jack's team. Remember
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz? He had a big week last week. I'm gonna throw out. I don't know how high this guy has climbed, dude, but I'm pretty sure Jonnu Smith has been going insane.
Yeah, but he's not top 5. Who?
Somebody has Jonnu Smith in our league.
I don't think so.
I swear,
Mr.
somebody does.
Consistent.
Oh, it's Kittle.
No, it's not Kittle. Kittle had 2 terrible weeks right in a row. I think he had 1.4 last week.
Yeah, but those 30-point tight end
he had
games.
1. It's not him.
Okay, go. You pick on.
I'm between Evan Ingram and Cole Kmet right now.
I'd give it to Cole Kmet. He was
Cole
like,
Kmet.
You guys locking that in?
yep.
Lock that in.
It's Cole Kmet. Nice.
He was like
nice.
3 last week, so that makes
Yeah, I
sense.
mean he had a really slow start to the year, and then he's had a couple of really good weeks back in a row. And he got cut in our league, which is just hilarious because I was the top 5 tight ends. So, all right, you guys thought it was over. No, top 5 defenses. This one is just like if you don't get them right away, I'll just give them to you because like who really
Cowboys.
cares? Yep, they're 1.
The Bills.
They're 2.
The Niners.
What were you just?
San Fran.
Oh no.
San Diego.
No Saints. Saints. Yes, they're number 4. Yeah.
I want to say Kansas City, but I can't. I don't. If you
Not
have
KC.
any idea.
No.
I'll just give them to you. They're not that
Miami.
important. Not Miami.
Wait. One more guess.
One more guess.
The Lions.
I wish. Baltimore. They do have a lot of turnovers this
Ravens.
year, though. The Ravens. Yes, Ravens are number 3, and the New York Jets are number 5. All right. We're not done either yet. Top 5 kickers. Give them to me. And guess what? There's 2 tied for 5th, so there's 6 kickers on
Jake
this
Elliott.
list. Number 1.
Brandon Aubrey.
Brandon Aubrey, number 3. Tied for number 3.
Brett Maher.
Brett Maher's number 2, and I just scooped him in one of my leagues.
Just nailing the top 3 quick kickers is crazy.
It is. And I just dropped Brandon Aubrey, too, because he's on bye.
I had to drop him too.
Yeah.
Tough.
I'm just not, but I have 2 kickers
But
on my team.
I've got Jake Money Moody.
Yeah, and he ain't on this list.
No,
That's for
but-
sure.
I thought that was a guess.
It was.
Okay. Roll out 2. I got 2.
They're
three.
pretty hard.
Young Hoku.
No.
Nope.
Oh wait. Some dude had a huge kicker. Matt Gay.
Nope. He did have a big game though. Yeah, he had like
Matt
5
Prater.
field goals. Nope.
Dickerson.
Prater's been bad this year. It's
No,
kinda
Prater
weird.
Dickerson.
had like 16 on me.
Yeah,
Oh,
but he
Cameron
just missed a lot of
Dickerson.
field goals. Who did you say?
Cameron Dickerson.
Nope. Who did you
Dickerson.
say? Did you say the same guy?
Somebody had a crazy game last week. They had like 20.
Justin Tucker.
Oh well, yeah.
Nope.
Justin. Really, he did have like 20
Not
last
top
week.
5. I'm giving them to you. Nick Folk is tied for 3rd with Brandon Aubrey. Harrison Butker is tied for 5th, and I'm gonna pronounce his first name wrong, but I think it's Kamai Fairbairn,
Never heard of him.
the Houston Texans kicker.
Yeah.
They had like 4 field goals in their game last week. So. Fairbairn, I think. All right, guys, I think it's time to hop into Week 7 boom or bust picks. like I said, they're tricky this week with the amount of players on bye. I told you guys I have 10 names written down for 4 names that I have to select, so it's going to be tricky. Seth, why don't you start us off by giving us a boom or a bust?
This one isn't really fair because I have some inside information.
Wow.
This guy plays for my team, and he called me up this week and said, I know your team's down bad with the buys, and I'm projected 16.6 points against the Bears. Devontae Adams told me he's going for 40.
Okay, I like that. 16.6, you said?
Yeah.
I like that pick a lot. I mean, he's a guy
He
that
got
has been
locked 2 games in a row.
a guy that's been projected like 20s the last several weeks, and obviously has had a couple poor weeks in a row. So I think he's due for a boom. I like that pick. Ivan, give us your first boom / bust.
Aaron Jones, boom.
Okay, well, we got some homer picks today, boys. I like it. What's his projection?
15.7.
Right. Yeah, he's come back from injury. Is it like confirmed that he's playing, or has he still got the Q on him?
He has the Q.
Yeah, that's tough. If he doesn't play, we'll give you a
If he
fifth
doesn't
pick.
play, dude, it's just stupid, and I'm just gonna be mad. So.
Yeah, I would. That's pretty fair. Okay, my first boom pick of the week. Like I said, I don't know who I'm picking for all of these, but I have one absolute lock of a boom this week, and it's an unfortunate lock of a boom. Mark Andrews is booming against the Lions. 12.5 fantasy points. If there's one thing that the Lions have done my whole entire lifetime since I was a little baby watching them play till present day, they give up big plays to the tight ends, especially good tight ends. So we talked about this with Seattle's tight ends weeks back. They give like 180 yards to their 3 tight ends combined. I just think that Mark Andrews is probably going to get a touchdown. He's probably going to get like 80 yards. So I'm going to go with the Mark Andrews boom just off of an analytical standpoint and not a Lions fan standpoint. So there's that one. All right, Seth, give us a boom or bust.
I just want to do a little flashback because I think you said the same thing about Kyle Pitts, and he laid in that.
Yeah, but I didn't pick him as a boom, though. Because it's Kyle Pitts. They just, he probably was wide ass open. They just didn't want to. They just didn't want to throw it to him.
Jonnu Smith was there.
Yeah, exactly. He
All
just
right.
didn't want to throw it, and they got Ritter at QB.
This one's a little cheeky, but I think he's gonna play. So I'm gonna go CMC bust versus Minnesota.
Okay.
23.1, and then I'll just take like the extra pick if he doesn't play this week.
21.1.
23.1.
23. Damn, 23.1 coming off an injury.
I feel like that shouldn't even be allowed to be picked. I mean, that's a joke.
Because of his projection.
Yeah, he's gonna have like 10 carries if he plays.
Then do it. Then pick it. That's a joke. But you know what he has with those 10 carries? 2 touchdowns.
No, dude. Who do
Or
they
have
play?
1 yard, 2 touchdowns.
They play Minnesota.
Okay, never mind. My first bust is Mike Evans. He's projected 15.9, and he's not very good.
Wow.
Just kidding. He's good, but he's put up like less than 10 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I am right there with you. I have Mike Evans bust as one of my picks on here. I'm gonna go over and wait to make that be my last one that I decide between, because I do have a bust pick that I like this week, and it's a risky one, but I'm doing it. Raheem Mostert bust this week. Interesting. 18.3 projection going up against Philly, which I don't think Philly is something we should be crazy scared of, that they're this elite run defense. I know fantasy wise, I think they're top 5 or top 8 or something. But last week, Breece Hall had a pretty good game against them. So I think that you can run the ball good against them. I just think it's more of the game script wise for the Dolphins. That game against Buffalo, when they were just getting blown out, they obviously weren't running the ball very well. They've had so many blowout games in the last several weeks where Mostert can just rack up these touchdowns and big yards. I think that they might have to go to the pass a little bit more. And 18.3 is just a high projection in general. So
plus it's Jeff,
let me
it's
tell
Jeff
you
Wilson's
something.
backfield.
I would love that this week. Or is it Savon Ackerman's backfield?
Let me tell you something.
Tell it.
I played against Raheem Mostert in fantasy last week.
That had to suck.
That guy doesn't come off the field ever. And you were like, oh, they're off the field. Let's see if their defense is going to hang out there. No. A minute and a half goes by. He's back on the field. He's scoring another
Yeah, but you got to remember, that was against Bryce Young.
That don't matter.
Playing any Dolphins player in fantasy is terrifying.
I saw a headline and I sent it to Kyle today, and it was The Miami Dolphins are preparing for one of the biggest horror shows for the NFL.
Yeah, it was like Devon Achan's return will be a horror movie in the NFL or something like that. I was like, what does that even mean?
The Dolphins are putting nightmares into people's eyes.
They are, and I want to watch it. All right, Seth, give us a boom or bust.
I've got a couple booms on here. I'm gonna throw a dart. I'm gonna say Romeo Dobbs, 9.9.
Dude's just picking his teeth.
Versus
He does this every
Denver.
week.
9.9 versus the worst pass defense in the league. That's a boom.
I don't blame you. It's a
I'm
good
not
pick.
gonna lie, dude. That might be the first bust or boom. Wait, that was boom pick. Yeah,
That was boom.
That might be the first boom pick of any dude under 10 points projected that we've had this year. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there has been one yet. So I like that pick, man.
Thanks.
Hopefully it works out. Are you even starting him?
No.
Well, yeah, you are. Don't you have to start
He's
him?
my wide receiver too this week.
So that's why you picked him.
Yeah.
He picked both his starting wide receivers on the week. Okay, Seth or Ivan, boom or bust.
I'm gonna go boom. Seth's in for a good week. I've got Bills defense boom.
Oh, he goes with the defensive
Wow.
boom.
They're projected 7.2 against the Patriots. They'll probably have 13 interceptions, 7 touchdowns, 14 forced fumbles, and
I
2
hope
kick
this hits.
returns.
Yeah,
So bad.
but Zeke Elliott will get his touchdown. If there's one thing he's gonna do, is he's gonna get in that end zone. So,
Probably.
yeah, I like that pick though. I love the defense. I hope it hits. I want one of these defense picks to hit, and I can't wait till someone does the kicker one. I might do a kicker bust.
Do not start Butker this week.
Terrible start. Go pick up Kamai Fairbairn. All right. For my other boom pick, look, everyone is doing it. So why would I not hop on with it and pick one of my own guys to boom? A couple booms that I wrote down here that I'll just let you guys in on that I liked. I think we are due for like a Mahomes boom one of these weeks, and I kind of think this could be the week
Probably will
against the Chargers. He is predicted 22.8 though, which is high because I don't even know if he's hit that one time this year. But like he's due to just have like a 350 with 4 touchdowns type of game. Could be this week. Hopefully I don't pick it wrong. KJ Osborne, boom, I almost considered doing, but I wanted to include him on the thing where who to start. But at 12.1 projection, I think that is very viable. However, I am going with the Bijan boom this week. He's projected 15.6 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The reason why I'm mainly picking this is like Tampa Bay has been a good run defense. This is the first week where Bijan is not projected like 18 point something. He just has had his projection drop for this week after coming off of a bad week. So I just think that I'm kind of just taking the risk that he can get 20.6 instead of taking him on a boom where he needs to get 24.
Does
So,
he get his first rushing touchdown in the NFL?
you know, that's a really good question because like he's had 2 touchdowns, both receiving. Tyler Algier hasn't scored since week 1.
I know. I was just looking at it. They have 4 touchdowns combined.
Yeah, Ritter be scoring like rushing touchdowns. He be kind of stealing a few of them. But hopefully Arthur Smith decides to bench Desmond Ritter here at some point because he looked so terribly
Don't they have
bad last
Heineke?
week. They do have Heineke.
Yeah.
But
That'd be great for Bijan.
it would be so good, man. And Ritter's so bad. I was just watching that game. I kept turning it on. And, like, Ritter would throw a pick. I would turn it off. And next thing you know, like a minute later, somehow they got the ball back. Ritter throws another pick. It's just
Their defense is solid.
their defense. Their roster in general is solid. Like, and that division is wide open. Like, why not just try out Heineke for a game and just see what happens? Like, that's a frustrating situation to watch.
They're like a Kirk Cousins away from
Literally,
being a contender.
they totally. They're like a Taylor Heineke away from being it. they're a
I don't know about that.
They're a non-Desmond Ritter QB away from it. All right, Seth, give us your final bust of Week 7.
This is probably my least confident pick, but I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson busting against the Detroit Lions. He's projected 19.1.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how confident I am in that pick either. Like, we've been pretty historically bad against mobile quarterbacks. And he is the mobile quarterback.
Yeah, but Aiden Hutchinson.
That's true. This is a different defense.
Exactly.
So I can't.
And the main driving force behind this pick from me is we saw 3 weeks of Lamar putting up almost 30, 28, 29, and then 3 weeks of him not breaking 10.
Yeah.
So it's
A little scary.
a solid defense, I think, could hold him to under 19.
And we're way more than a solid defense.
Yeah.
All right, Ivan, your final bust pick of the week.
This one hurts. It's Jahmyr Gibbs bust. Projection's too high in my opinion, coming off a hamstring injury.
It was 15-6, right?
15-7. No, 15-6. So yeah, I hope he gets a 65-yard touchdown, and I feel stupid about it, and I will be so happy.
That's kind of how I feel about the Mark Andrews pick. Like, I hope he just gets 2, and I'm just wrong. Like,
Right,
that would be nice.
With a hard week, I think that projection to me, like he should be sitting at 12. Like
Yeah,
15
I think
is
so
just
too.
high.
And I think it's strictly because of the injury to Montgomery, obviously, but you're still playing against the Ravens, who are a really good run defense. Imagine a world where, because Mike Evans still has that Q mark next to him too for some reason. Imagine if Jones, Evans, and Gibbs all don't play.
I'll have to study up next week.
3 extra picks for next week. Okay, so my final bust pick of the week. I'm not going to pick Mike Evans just because I have a lot of names written down, so I feel like I should choose a different one. But I did have the Mike Evans bust as an option. I really don't even know which one I'm going to take. Okay, yeah, I do. I'm going to go with Marquise Brown bust this week against Seattle. He's projected 14.9. As much as we talked about Josh Dobbs earlier about how he's been solid, there was some major regression last week. In the last couple weeks, the offense has taken a major step back. And I think that if Marquise Brown doesn't score a touchdown, this is very possible that he hits this. Yeah, it's not like my favorite pick in the world. I was kind of picking between this, and I also had Jacoby Myers and Puka Nacua busts on my radar. But Puka Nacua having a 16.1 projection, I almost feel like is a trap for me to pick the bust.
I almost picked him to boom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he's gonna bounce
pick,
back this week. So
I think the reason the Cardinals is probably James Conner. You know, you don't think about it like James Conner is like a move to 6 kind of guy. Like he is he's old and he's injury prone, but he's good.
He's reliable. He definitely was helping that offense.
He was averaging 14, 15 points
and
in
last
fantasy.
week,
getting the job done.
Trio of RBs that they had definitely was a much different look than James Conner has been so far this year. So yeah, I definitely agree that could be a huge reason why the Cardinals offense has not looked as great so far. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up everything for the Week 7 Boom Bust and this episode. Thank you guys for listening for the late night cast, and go win your fantasy football weeks this week. Best of luck to Seth, too, because he needs it, man.
I do.
All right, peace out, guys. Thanks. Bye.